Hello, this is Ollie's Movie Madness, and I'm going to be doing a movie review of The Circle. Now, The Circle is really bad. It's not as it didn't piss me off as much as Batman vs Superman or even War Machine did. It mostly just bored the fuck out of me. It literally bored me to death because nothing happens. And the premise of this movie is weird as fuck. Because we focus around this woman named May. She is working for this company called The Circle, which they just stalk you. That's their entire job. They stalk you with drones. They follow you home. They just watch you 24/7. And that's not fucking creepy. That's not gonna creep anyone in the world have had their lives be invaded with no privacy. And May want to figure out what is going on with The Circle. She wants to know why everyone's acting weird. And that's it. That's the entire premise. It's stupid. The performances. I'm sorry to say, even though this movie has a great cast, and that is my one positive, is that the cast in this movie is great. That being said, however, they're completely wasted. Emma Watson, who plays May in the film, she cannot be more dull in this movie. She is so bland at this character. She is just essentially, I hate to compare this performance, but she's essentially Famke Janssen from X3 X-Men: The Last Stand in terms of giving a nothing performance. She just emotes like a robot. She doesn't really do anything. The character of May is so boring. She finds out that her dad is dying, which comes into play later on in the film, and they don't even discuss it after a while. I just think overall, Emma Watson was very boring. But sadly, and I'm sorry to say this, the worst performance in this entire movie is Tom Hanks as Iman. Oh my goodness, I hate this performance. Now, he is trying. He's trying his best. And I will say this. Out of all the actors, I can tell he had a lot of fun playing this villain. I can actually tell that Tom Hanks was having a little bit of fun playing this evil CEO. That being said, however, I don't know why the fuck he decided to do it. Because Tom Hanks is way too nice. He's not a villain actor. A villain actor are actors like Christoph Waltz, Gary Oldman, Javier Bardem. He played a couple villains, but not someone as nice as Tom Hanks. So as much as Tom Hanks is trying, this is his worst performance, unfortunately. And I like Tom Hanks as an actor. I liked him in the Toy Story movies and a lot of other stuff he was in. But as boring as Tom Hanks is, easily the worst and quite possibly the most boring as fuck performance comes from John Boyega as Tyler, who's only in like 3 fucking scenes. He doesn't do anything. He's boring. He's flat. And sadly, John Boyega is a great actor. If you watch him in Imperial Dreams, he can act. That being said, I don't know what he's doing there. The scene where he says, like, had some fun, you're at the circle. Like, he's not even skeptical of, like, them being watched. He's actually enjoying it, which is so weird. Speaking of another waste of an actress, Karen Gillan, who is Nebula in the MCU. She's in this movie, and she doesn't do anything. Patton Oswalt doesn't do anything. Again, these are great actors. Even Bill Paxton, and this is sadly his final performance. He's just dull in this movie, and I think that's the biggest problem with this film, is that most of the actors are just bored, with the exception of Tom Hanks, who I already mentioned is having a little bit of fun as this villain, as this character of Iman. I can tell he's having a lot of fun. But the rest of the cast is dull, bland, or they don't do anything. And by the way, if you've seen the trailers and this poster, you will think that Tom Hanks is in this movie. No, he's only in the movie for like 5 minutes. So that is a big waste of a perfect actor right there. The directed by James, which I don't know his last name. I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to follow the storyline of the book because this is based off of a book. But I just felt like he crammed too much stuff into this movie. He does develop the characters, with the exception of Emma Watson's character, May. She's the only one that sort of gets a character arc, but not really. He just makes every character dull. Again, I get what you were trying to do. Follow the storyline of the book. Because I believe the same thing... excuse me. The same thing happens where you have the corporation that watches you 24/7. But it just doesn't translate well into film. And... I mean... I will say this. This is not as bad as The Snowman. But in conclusion, I did not like this movie. I think it's boring. Most of the actors are just completely wasted and don't get to do anything. Especially Tom Hanks, who is a tremendous actor, as I already mentioned. And I get, again, out of the performances, I guess he's kind of the least terrible thing in the movie. But that being said, I think he was way miscast. He's way miscast. Because he's not a villain actor. Gary Oldman, Christoph Waltz, Hugo Weaving, Bill Nighy, Josh Brolin, those are villain actors. But Tom Hanks is not. The only positive I have is that this does have a good cast, and Tom Hanks was trying his best. And I could tell he had a lot of fun as this character. But aside from those three things, nothing else was good. I'm surprised this wasn't dubbed onto Netflix because of how boring and uninteresting this movie was. And now, is it the worst movie of 2017? Well, yes and no. It isn't as bad as Death Note 2017. Because it did piss me off. But it was still boring. Now, I will say in this movie's defense is that, one more positive I will say, is that there's far worse movies than this. There's a lot more unwatchable shit than this. To be honest, I would rather watch this than Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. I will say that. But overall, I give The Circle a 2 out of 10. Just skip it. Go watch Castaway. It's a way better Tom Hanks movie. So that is my movie review of The Circle. Hope you guys enjoyed.